It's your boy Tam 50 Utusuku. If you want my song as you're funding on your official line, the code is 12187. The whole game lasts up.
There were fresh concerns that Libya's new leaders are fighting amongst themselves, even as one of Muammar Gaddafi's sons suddenly surfaced in Niger. Mustafa Jalil, the head of the Transitional National Council, returned to Tripoli from Misrata for the first time since the Gaddafi regime fell. Meanwhile, Gaddafi loyalists are not giving up without a fight. They hold that cities include Sabah, Beni Walid and areas around Jufra. And as we hear in this report, the battle for Gaddafi's birthplace, Sirte, shows just how quickly the tide can change.
All of these rebel fighters are from Misrata. There are hundreds of them. At the start of this day, they were still at least 200 kilometers from the city of Sirte. That is the city that is still in the hands of those loyal to Colonel Gaddafi. Today, what they are doing is pushing out, aiming to close that distance, clearing territory between Misrata and Sirte, which they say is still being patrolled by soldiers and forces loyal to Gaddafi. The convoy has stopped here because they spotted the green flag of Gaddafi loyalists just up ahead. The vehicles spread out to one side, approached from the side. They seem to have reached that point now. This was the location where the pro-Gaddafi fighters were. The green flag was flying just above this point. By the time that we've got here, they've already torn that flag down. We are told they have captured 7 pro-Gaddafi fighters, but we're not allowed to see them, while there were as many as perhaps a dozen more who jumped in their cars and have headed off down the road in that direction. Just past that outpost, the convoy has stopped and there is now something of a standoff. Just down the road is a small village that is made up entirely of Gaddafi supporters. They are made up of the Wafala tribe, which is entirely loyal still to Gaddafi and refusing to switch sides. The commander here has tried to negotiate with representatives from the village. The village has refused to talk about it any further. The fighters here, you can see, they're chanting. They want to go in there by force and take this small village, but the commander is saying no. He's saying the population there is made up of women and children, wants these guys all to turn back.
There are only a handful of fighters in there. We don't want to enter and risk killing women and children. We want the world to know that the Libyan revolutionaries are civilized.
So the commander has had his way. All the fighters are now turning their vehicles around. His concerns over easing future tensions between the Libyan people have won out over the desire of some of the fighters to take this small village. So now all the fighters are heading back towards Misrata. Phil Black, CNN, Wadi Bay, Libya.
Somalia's president says the country's capital is now safe for business. This after the Islamic militant group Al-Shabaab withdrew from Mogadishu. Despite that development, the most pressing issues on the ground like poverty, hunger and the persistent atmosphere of insecurity remained unresolved. This report brings us to speed with the current situation in Mogadishu.
Because it is in control of Mogadishu, it's in control of the whole country. A ribbon-cutting ceremony in the capital of a failed state. As Somalia's president declares Mogadishu open for business, he knows his people have much more urgent needs.
Right now, we are fighting against hunger. When we get a solution for that, then we will start development. We will also find the funding for people to start their own enterprise.
But he wants to assure them it's now safe to trade in the capital. Still, the ceremony does little to mask an atmosphere of insecurity. Not everyone who wants to can attend. The president himself arrives protected by an army. Last month, the Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab announced its tactical withdrawal from Mogadishu, leaving Somalia's weak transitional government in charge of the capital for the first time in 5 years. The president sees the retreat as a sign of defeat.
100% they cannot return.
People here are still scared that there is that threat.
The threat will be there, but and they are so scared and they have the reason to scare, but it will end soon.
The people gathered here are desperate for a new beginning, but they're going to need much more than assurances from politicians. They need money to start their own businesses and the threat of Al-Shabaab to be totally eliminated.
You know, Christy, Al-Shabaab is but one of many militant groups in Somalia. In the capital, Mogadishu, you see different kinds of militia that are aligned to different clans and that control different parts of the city. So it's a really, really complex situation and one that will take many, many years, I think, to sort out, Christy.
With the latest on sports after this break.
Gamsel ñun ñoy borom betax ñu ngi leen delloo njukkal waaw bayti laay makatu kalama Allah ci at bu ne dañuy tànn fukki nit jëla yóbbu la makk nga siyaare ji bayti laay Nabil Mustafa Allah ñi nga ci bokki mooy dangay faral di jënd xone dala ci crédit bi bu ci yàlla defee sa wërsëg di nga bokk ci fukki nit yi war a dem Makkatul Mukarrama dem siyaare ji Yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam Allah lépp lu ci war ñoo koy def Gamsel jaaramaay Gamsel yaay borom.
Welcome back. Gamto Football Club have booked their place in the forthcoming Wafu Ayadema Trophy Challenge in Togo. The telecommunication giants came from behind to draw 1-1 with Guinean side Horoya FC in the second leg of the tie. The Gambian side won 4-1 an aggregate after winning the home leg by a convincing 3-0 scoreline. Modou Sarr scored to Gamtel's equalizer in the 65th minute from the spot after Horoya took an early lead. The FA Cup winners will now enter the Trophy Challenge in December 2011. And before we go, a reminder of our headlines. President Jammeh has revealed his intention to venture into cashew cultivation and cash into its huge financial rewards. The Information Communication Society, including the sector's minister, Alhaji Cham, joined the Bajila seafront on Monday afternoon to witness the landing of the African coast to Europe's submarine cable. Somalia's president is painting a glowing picture of his battered country's huge business potential, this after the sudden withdrawal of Al-Shabaab fighters from the capital Mogadishu. And there are mounting fears of a potential outbreak of internal conflict between leading members of Libya's Transitional National Council as a move to form a proper post-Gaddafi government gather pace. You're reminded that you can also follow the day's stories and other Grts programs live on our website at www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor Grts Radio Live. And with that, we come to the end of the news. Thanks for joining us and good night.
من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون